here we are. Let's start. From Eva.
Good morning, dear judges. My name is Eva, and today I'm going to tell you something about me. And first, I would like to share the story that kindled my passion for the profession of foreign affairs police officer. And it's a story that happened when I was a sophomore and when I was in my internship. And at that time, I encountered a case in which a British man stole from a convenience store, and he was then taken to my police station. And the policemen in my police station then treated him very nicely, and they didn't respect him very much because he didn't understand Chinese, and they didn't even ask for the help of a professional translator at law. And it was me who helped him translate and interpret it for him and help him finish his police record and statement. And when he was leaving, he told me that he was grateful for my help. And at that time, I was touched and also very happy. And after that, it was the first time that I get to know a little about the job of a foreign affairs police officer. And after that, I made a wish to myself to become a foreign affairs police officer with a compassionate and also just heart. And after my internship, I returned to CPU and keep training hard. And after 4 years of training, I think I am ready to do it. And my motto is journey before destination. It's a quote from my favorite novel. And I believe that every difficulties that I encountered and overcome will finally help me reach my destination, which is to become a good foreign affairs police officer. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Hello, Ben.
Good morning, my name is Ben, and I have a very wide range of interests. Of those, my favorite is martial arts and shooting. I grew up reading tales of King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table. So, to me, having a job that had a lot that required that would have honor. Sorry. A job that would have that required a lot. Not required. A job with honor is a job that I would pursue. That I think I would pursue in my life. So at first I wanted to be a military, but my father was in the ROC Marines, and he told us not to join the military. So in high school I decided that in terms of helping people, perhaps being a police officer would be the best route to do so. And I enjoy helping and protecting others. So when we come into CPU, most of the time we already decided what we are going to do in our career by our departments. For example, we are the Department of Foreign Affairs. So when we take the test, we take the test specifically for foreign affairs police, and we go to departments assigned for that. But for me, I want to be a personal protection officer or executive protection. Yes, because I think that is the most direct job in protecting people. Though politicians and other important people in Taiwan don't face the same danger as those in overseas or like the United States. They face actually quite great risk of perhaps assassination or assault. Politicians in Taiwan actually don't have that risk. So the risk isn't that high for them. But I still think protection is required to keep, and not also them. Protection, it works both ways, especially for the police. We don't just protect the subject that we are assigned to, but also the crowd around. We have to subdue in a more peaceful and inspiring way.
Okay, hello Stan. Hi.
Dear judges, my name is Sam. I would like to introduce myself by the following qualities of mine. First, I'm a fair-minded person. When I treat my friend and friends, I don't play favorite place. For example, when I was an intern lieutenant in CPU, I had several intern surgeons under my supervision, and one of them had more connection with me. When he didn't perform his duty well, I still correct his mistake and blame on him fairly. Second, I am an authentic person. It means the real me is exactly what you have seen. And I also regard myself as a reliable person and a good listener. For example, one day a person required for my help and suggestion while I'm studying in CPU. And I spent totally 2 hours searching for information and answering his question about his wrangle with his neighbor. And third, I am a principled person. Maybe I am an easygoing person, but I clearly understand my limitation of everything, and I will follow up my own rules, and which are difficult to change and replace. And last, I am an organized person. I like to arrange my assignment and job clearly and complete each of them step by step. For instance, I will set up a to-do list on my cell phone, and when I complete one of them, I will tick it off. And by doing this, it give me a sense of achievement. And in the end, I hope I can become a good foreign affairs police officer by staying with my qualities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello Lee.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nick, and I would like to introduce myself with the activities that I have been involved in for the past 4 years. First of all, I was a member of a track and field team, and in order to perform well on the annual competition, I practiced continually and relentlessly. I believe that I have one of the highest attendance rates among all the track and field team members. By the 4-year routine training, I cultivate a sense of persistence. For another, I was a member of the club association, and the club association is the student association of our school that hosts most of the extracurricular activities. And the most famous one is the annual Christmas ball. And I believe that some of the NTPU students come to enjoy this as well. We'll invite the students of other college to Central Police University, and each of them will be randomly paired with a student of our school. Afterward, the couple may enjoy a lovely night. And actually, to prepare for these activities is very exhausting, and it took most of my leisure time. However, I think my effort paid off after I see the smiles on people's face. And during that year, I learned the importance of teamwork, coordination, and communication. And I also developed a sense of responsibility. Besides the long-term activities that I just mentioned, I also participate in a lot of contests and short-term activities, but I don't think I have enough time to introduce them. To sum up, I am an outgoing, adventurous, and hardworking person. And every time I overcome the obstacles I met and reach my goals, I always feel a sense of accomplishment. And that is the power that urges me to keep pushing myself to the limit. As you can imagine, my motto is, where there is a will, there is a way. With this faith, I will keep moving on, and when whatever what blocks my way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you guys. So the first question I'm going to ask you is from Nick, okay? So this question is around your future goal. Can you tell us a little bit about the future and also besides and do you, okay? So Nick?
For the shooting goal, the most important goal is to pass the national exam next year. So in this year, I will study very hard in order to get a good grades and pass it. And for the midterm, I would like to get a good performance on the future job. Most of us will become a foreign affairs police officer, and to take care of our kids is the most important job of our future. As for the long term, I don't think too much, but I think to cultivate good relationships with all people around me is important, such as the colleague, the family, and my friends. And I think I won't care too much about my accomplishments on jobs, but I want to have a good relationships with the people around.
Okay.
Okay, my future goal is to be a liaison officer, which means a diplomat of police force. And I had sought for living and working abroad. And being a liaison officer is a precious opportunity to fulfill my dream. And being a liaison officer is a meaningful job to challenge myself. As a liaison officer, I can cooperate with the foreign police to fight against the crime, and I can also make friendship with the others in a foreign country. And moreover, when Taiwanese citizens face problem, I can offer my help in first hand. Although it needs a lot of effort to fulfill this dream, but I will keep going and prepare myself well. As the saying goes, chances belong to those who are prepared. So I will keep going and do my best. Thank you.
So, as I earlier mentioned, I wish to become a personal protection officer. And besides that, I wish to join police because I think that it is a career that can help people in many ways. So I actually don't wish to become a very high-ranking officer or earn a high salary and like that. But I think in this career, I wish to just help as many people as possible. And in doing so, I think I will be very satisfied with that.
Okay, thank you.
First of all, my short-term goals are first to pass the national exam, and second, I would like to save enough money for me to travel abroad after I graduate. Because I want to know how it feels like to be in a completely different culture and language, and feel the way that the foreigners in Taiwan would feel like. And for my long-term goal, I wish that I can keep learning different kinds of languages and gain some professional skills during my life as a foreign affairs police officer. And I wish that I can finally become a foreign affairs police officer of my dream, which is to be just but also compassionate.
Okay, great.
Can I? Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can start with Nick. Alright, how, like, nowadays the foreign affairs police officers really have to study English very well. But in my experience, it seems like most of the foreigners in Taoyuan Guishan now are actually from Vietnam. So do you guys have, like, if there's any situations with people from Vietnam, is it also the foreign affairs police that have to deal with them? And then, if so, do you guys also have students that will choose to study Vietnamese, or do you just try to communicate with them in English or Chinese the best you can?
In fact, most foreigner we take care of is the foreign laborers, and most of them comes from the South Asia.
Yeah.
But there are many countries in the South Asia, and we can't know every language of those countries. So, if we face a foreigner that he or she uses the language that we don't know, we will turn to the interpreters. And actually, we have a list of interpreters in every police station. So every time we encounter this problem, we will turn to those interpreters and ask them to help us to deal with the case. So I don't think to learn the second foreign language is necessary, but to learn a second foreign language is helpful for our job, because if we face the case of that language, we can deal it with by ourselves and don't need to turn to interpreters. But if we don't, there's also a way for us to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then for you, you said you wanted to be an officer in like a foreign diplomatic relations. Now, it doesn't seem that, nowadays it seems that Taiwan's recognition internationally is getting lower and lower, where it seems like Taiwan would be hesitant to send like officers to other countries, because then it turns into like a official embassy. Like, of course Taiwan has like a embassy in US, but you can't call it an embassy, you have to call it something different. But so they want like trade offices. So like, how does that affect your job prospects in the future? Or do you really want to go to like Latin America, where you still have embassies?
I think the situation of Taiwan won't affect my dream, because the purpose of liaison officer is that when Taiwan has lower situation in the global, we can still have relationship and cooperation with the police force in other foreign countries. Because when liaison officer in a foreign country, we will make good friendship with other police in foreign country. So we can just keep the country aspect. So China will not bother our job, and I think even Taiwan will have no embassy or no diplomat in Taiwan, is still not affect to cooperate with other foreign countries in the police area.
Okay. Okay, and then for Ben, you mentioned like private security. Actually, I was actually kind of surprised too. The first time I met or got close to Mine Joe was actually at the Chang'an Lupao in the morning, and then yeah, I was completely shocked, because I was able to stand from here and he was like the corner there, and then between me and the president was maybe just two normal police officers, and then there was a guy in a suit with like a microphone a headpiece standing next to him. But only those three people. So like if I it would seem like if some crazy person wanted to shoot him or stab him, it wouldn't be that difficult. And then, like, as U.S. standards, there's no way I would be able to get that close to President Trump. Or if I did, I would go through like metal detectors and pat it down. And then even if you're standing by them, he would still be surrounded by like 5 people. Like when you're that close. So I don't know why is it that way in Taiwan? You just don't care that much of the.
If you look closer, there are way more security than you think. They don't only wear suits.
Okay, so.
If you know what kind of clothing to look, actually you will see a lot more in the crowd.
Okay.
But yes, the security is more not. I shouldn't call it slacking, but yes, it is a lot.
Yeah, to me it was very
loose
civilian.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, still, the situation is still under supervision, under surveillance by others, and there will be, of course, like snipers or observers in other places. But on the whole, because government officials in Taiwan don't face the same threat as those in, like perhaps America, who would want to assassinate the president of Taiwan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not that.
yeah. So actually, they face a lot less danger than those overseas.
Yeah, but even then, sometimes the security can actually be quite small, but at the same way quite intimidating. Like when we
Yes.
went to the, what do you call it, the Universidad at the swimming pool.
Yes.
The swimming pool at TU Dashi, like it looked like the security was very light, but the security they had was 2 guys on each corners, like holding a big, I don't know, AK-47 or assault rifle, MP5, yeah, holding a big assault rifle, staring at the whole crowd. So I mean, of course, it's low, but it's still scary.
Because a couple of years before the university, there happened an incident in the Taipei MRT.
Yeah, I remember.
So for the university, they mobilized a lot of personnel to ensure the security of them. And Taiwan is an insignificant country, but the university is very important international.
Yeah.
So we have to do all that is required to keep this, keep it safe.
Now for so Eva, so continuing with officer safety, so he mentioned the MRT. Do you think sometimes officers because Taiwan is a safe place, they don't deal with threats like appropriately? Like I was very shocked that the guy in with Jiayi, right? The guy got stabbed in Jiayi. Like I was very shocked that something like that could happen. Because if it's like a crazy like old guy with a knife, you would think like the officer would use more. In a nice way, maybe common sense. Like you would think you guys would have pepper spray and tasers, and you would keep your distance. Like, so what's your comment on that?
Actually, in that incident,
Mhm.
I think the officer that gets stabbed, he didn't wear a bullet vest.
Okay.
Bulletproof vest, so he was stabbed easily.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's a point that the officer needs to beware of, because you don't know when you will meet this kind of situations, and you don't know that if someone on the road just run at you with a knife and stab you. And so I think the policeman needs to be responsible for their own safety, and they have to keep alert of the situations around them. And I think after the incident, the railway police officer station, they asked their officers to be equipped with pepper spray
Yeah.
and tasers
Yeah.
at all the time. So I think it will get better in time.
Not just that, it just really shocked me because even like a lot of U.S. officers, they won't wear bulletproof vests, but whenever they're dealing with you, even for simple stuff, like if they if they pull me over because I'm driving a little bit too fast, the officer right away would be like, all right, hands on the steering wheel. Or if they're talking to you on the street, they'll ask you, hey, take your hands out of your pocket. Like they don't let you like, I don't know, conceal your hand. They're very careful about that kind of stuff. Like even if they're called to like some house for a very simple thing and they don't even expect any danger, they'll always like keep their distance and make sure they can see everybody's hands. So sometimes I worry that maybe, I don't know, the Taiwanese police are too friendly. They need
We'll
to be.
leave that question to the next.
Okay, next please.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you.